Hello and welcome. This is a video about the Shamanic course, which is a type of family constellation that will be offered in the fall. Typically, this course is a 500-hour learning experience where we will pull in different lineages of shamanic work and then apply that to family constellation therapy for intuitive healing that honors intergenerational trauma as well as intergenerational gifts. So, this is really a calling for folks of all backgrounds. You don't need to have a master's in counseling or a PhD in psychology to join. It will give you self study tools. So, through the elements of family constellation, we're going to build in this course a powerful sense of connection to your inner wisdom and just be reminded that the strength and love belongs to you. So, this will be a level 1 training that will start the first weekend of October and then will carry all the way through to the following June. Within that, we'll have several blocks. So, we'll be taking time off in between blocks. So, the first block is 8 weeks long and it runs from October to November. And then after those 8 weeks, we'll take January off and you'll have reading lists of books to pick from related to soul retrieval or merging or other types of concepts when we look at generational trauma and how it's seen through different cultural and ethnic lenses across the world. And then in February, we'll reconvene, do a second block, and then we do a third block as spring approaches. And so while it is 500 hours and while it is the course of a full year, you have lots of opportunities in between to rest, to recharge, and to decide if you want to take the course fully in person or online. So, this course is absolutely designed for folks of all backgrounds and all locations. So here are some highlights of the course. We're going to learn shamanic rituals and activities, such as creating totem decks, learning how to smudge and do clearing in your home or your office. We'll talk about sacred scrolls as well as setting up an altar and have a place on that altar for you to have a surrender box. So, along with each of the modules each week, you'll also get activities each week that are often rooted in art and creativity. So, there'll be an experiential component as well as the intellectual component of a lecture. And then we'll also spend an hour each time we meet in class to meditate and to open up the 4 directions. And you'll learn how to do that yourself as well. Some other course highlights are going to be anchoring your own tools and rituals that fit within your culture and help to express and restore connection to nature and 5 elements as this daily, weekly ally that we tune into. Additionally, we'll use shamanic art therapy techniques to help channel big emotions and work with channeling ancestral karma into harmony and renewable energy. We'll also take time to understand the meaning behind these rituals and tools, as well as use things like mantra, dance, 5 element, and the chakra system to anchor some of these spiritual ways of being. Now, as far as topic goes, we'll talk about what shamanism is. And according to Harvard University, shamanic endeavors often have one key ingredient, and that's getting someone into a trance state. So trance states really revolve around different brainwaves and different brainwave states. So we know that when we get into an alpha brainwave state, we're very relaxed. And when we are just on that edge of an alpha versus a delta, we can access information from the unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind also holds the story of ancestral karma. It holds our biology, it holds archetypes. And so we'll be using this framework of the mind and the heart as access points to pull things up from the unconscious mind with the intention of generational connection and healing. So we'll pull in perspectives from Taoist traditions, from curanderismo in Latin America, as well as Celtic perspectives and Buddhist perspectives on trance states. So again, it's not cultural specific, it's not appropriation oriented, it's you getting in touch with your own cultural and ethnic makeup and pulling in those traditions that feel alive and resonate with you. We'll also, in some of our blocks, go over compassionate communication skills, such as active listening, positive reframing, and being able to talk and work through emotionally tense or emotionally charged subjects, so that when we are sharing family constellation or shamanic techniques with others, we feel embodied and in tune to the emotional messages that we are communicating. We'll also take this through a decolonial education and framework, meaning we'll bring in non-European perspectives on health from different and broad perspectives of culture. We'll also be trauma informed as we move and build up your literacy on how to be a trauma informed practitioner or healing arts or Reiki master, whoever is pulling you in, creating this perspective from a trauma informed place. And most importantly, we will anchor in and have a whole block that just looks at what are orders of love and what is constellation therapy specifically. So hopefully that gets you excited for some topics we'll cover and some activities that we'll also do in our experiential blocks. So here's some of the more logistical aspects of the course. The course will have an opening event either the second or last weekend of September, and that will kick off our October to November class that will meet 2 to 3 hours. Typically, we meet Sunday morning, 9 to 11:30, and that's online. So if you would like to make it in person, you're welcome to, but you're also welcome to take the class from the comfort of your own home. We'll typically do a vote a week or two before and see if that time works for everybody. Also, please note that there are many international folks, so just take note of the time zone. That's going to be Mountain Time. And when you purchase level 1 training package, you're also going to get a handmade drum that is chosen for you based on your astrology. So typically we'll do buffalo or deer made drums from their belly. And so we want to make sure that this process is done in a very sacred, slow, honoring way. So we work with 2 individuals who've been making drums and working with Native communities in the US for over 30 years. And so we'll have a drum that's made for you and sent to you before the course starts. We'll also do a deck of divination cards that we'll work with weekly, and we will unpack the I Ching, which is this beautiful sacred text from China, one of the oldest written books. And so we'll also be working on some self-study through hexagrams and a deeper awareness of our connection and our place with nature, where we are the microcosm to the macro. Also important to note, 1 scholarship is offered per year, and pre-registration discounts start on March 15. So if you sign up now, you save quite a bit of money. You can save up to $500 by pre-registering. Just to note, we do have limited space. With the class, we won't take more than 8 folks, just so we have a really small group and container, so that as you're working, as big themes are coming up for you, me and the course teaching assistant can be available for you and there to support you in your growth. So if you've already done level 1, you can always come back in year 2 and participate in level 2 or 3. So level 2 is going to include more topics around body work, sound therapy, and actually leading group sessions of family constellation. So in level 1, this is more about anchoring shamanic ways of being and daily spiritual rituals in your life and helping other people in a one-on-one dynamic by becoming fluent and identifying different spiritual traditions from across the world. And so in this level 1, you'll learn one-on-one steps for shamanic constellation and procedural kind of how to lead a client through this really deep, sensitive terrain of the unconscious mind, where we're pulling in ancestral support and allies with the intention of doing trauma work, as well as the intention of anchoring this big connection to ancestors and self. Level T, where it's different for level 2, not T, level 2 is that you're going to lead a whole group. So you might lead 10 to 20 people in shamanic family constellation. Now in level 3, this is really more about supervision and getting you feedback as you practice level 1 and 2 skills. Because what you'll find is once you get into practice, that's when questions really emerge. So for level 2, after the 8 weeks of our online Sunday class, you'll start to meet in January with a partner and start to practice these one-on-one constellation steps. And then we'll come back in February and we'll do the second block. So here are some of the blocks and contents, as well as the in-person weekends that come with the class. So level 1, you can see we have 8 modules around shamanic roots and family constellation, using ancient symbols and totems, healing spaces, application of sound, shamanic-based treatments. We'll also talk about some of the heavenly tools or systems related to Chinese medicine, as well as look at case studies and Mesoamerican healing arts. And that often includes things like limpias or soul retrievals. So you can take a deeper look if you want to see what level 1, part 1 is about. Part 2 around family systems, therapy, and orders of love, as well as part 3. So 8 modules in this first block, and then you can see later sessions really even out. And for the summer, it's just practice sessions and independent reading. And if you like, this is optional. You can submit a paper or an artwork related to everything you're integrating as our closing. As part of the class, you'll also get access to in-person weekends. The first one will be September 30th. And so we'll go over limpias and ceremonial herbs that we use to clean the energy field. And so when we say energy field, that's really just the aspect of temperature on our body that we can measure up to 2 feet away with certain neurostimulation techniques in the brain. And then we'll also have a sound therapy and a drum ceremony with primal sound mantra and painting our drums. And so that will happen after the 8-week block. So you can see this class has a lot that it expands out into and a lot that it can pull back in. So just know taking the Shamanic Family Constellation course will give you a strong, solid foundation in shamanic ritual and activity to use clinically or for your personal life. And then it will add on in part 2, family systems and orders of love, which is a type of family constellation. And then in part 3, in the winter term, we'll add in trauma-informed communication. And then in summer, it's really about independent reading, sitting by the pool, or hopefully sitting in the sun, and just integrating everything that you've learned so far. So hopefully this is helpful for you. And if you're interested, please reach out. Happy to chat more. This will be the 4th time that I have led a family constellation training, and I've studied with the Hummingbird Spiritual Center for 7 years studying their version of shamanic family constellation until my mentor passed. And so now I am teaching many of the elements of family constellation along with shamanic work. So primarily, I identify as an intuitive healer in my work, and I use my doctoral studies in mental health and acupuncture um, in service to the somatic awareness of how we deal with trauma and how we anchor in this ancestral awareness. So, really excited to connect with you through our Traditional Healing Arts Academy. And if you have any questions, please reach out. And if you want to take the course, you can just follow the buttons and sign up. So I hope that you have a great day. And again, it's just illuminateyourhealth.com, and you'll be able to find this information in the course dropdown.